Welcome to the Childcare Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you're a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Childcare Director's Chair.
Let me ask you something. What if the only thing standing between you and your next version of leadership is your willingness to begin? Not permission, not a promotion, and not someone tapping you on the shoulder and telling you that you're ready. There's a quote I keep coming back to from John Maxwell. And he says, all you need to begin is the desire to lead. And I want you to sit with that for a moment. Because if you've been listening to this podcast, if you've been nodding your head all along, feeling seen or feeling called out in the best way, then let me lovingly ask you this. What's stopping you from being a trailblazer? Welcome back to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast, the space where we talk about leadership the way it actually shows up in early childhood education. Not polished, not perfect, but powerful. This is for the leaders who care deeply, carry a lot, and quietly wonder if they're doing enough or being enough. And if that's you, you're in the right seat. Here's the truth no one says out loud. Leadership doesn't start with confidence. It starts with concern. Concern for your team, concern for your culture, concern for the way that things have always been done. And emergent leaders don't wake up one day just feeling bold. They wake up feeling uncomfortable with the status quo. So if you've ever thought, there just has to be a better way, or, gee, why do we keep losing good people, or why does this feel harder than it needs to be? That's leadership stirring in your belly. And let's talk about willingness, because that's also not glamorous. Being willing looks like raising your hand when it would be much easier to stay quiet, or taking feedback without letting it define you. And of course, owning mistakes instead of explaining them away. Willing is choosing growth over comfort. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm committed to learning, and let me be clear. That mindset alone will take you further than talent ever could. And desire is personal. It shows up when you're frustrated, but still hopeful, when you're tired, but you're still invested, and when you could leave, but we all know we stay. Desire looks like wanting your staff to feel valued, not replaceable, or your families to trust you with what matters most, or your program to stand for something. Desire is that quiet voice that says, I want to lead differently. And that's not weakness, that's purpose. Leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being aligned. Aligned with your values, aligned with your vision, aligned with the impact you want to leave behind. Leading means making decisions without unanimous approval, holding boundaries with care, and doing the inner work before expecting change from others. Leadership is choosing responsibility even when no one claps for it. And here's where the trailblazers separate themselves. They never stop learning. Not because they're unsure, but because they're serious. And learning looks like seeking mentors instead of staying isolated. Investing in leadership growth, not just operations. Reflecting instead of reacting. And the best leaders I know are constantly evolving because our field is evolving. and so are the people in it. So let me ask you, and I want you to answer honestly, not perfectly, where are you being called to step up? What part of leadership are you avoiding? And who would benefit if you fully owned your role? And now, this one matters. What are your 3 biggest reservations? Write them down. Is it fear of failing your team? Is it fear of judgment? Is it fear of being seen? And then ask yourself, are those reasons or just fears asking for reassurance? So let me ask you this as we close. What if you stopped waiting to feel ready? What if leadership wasn't something you earned later, but something you practice now? Trailblazers don't have it all figured out. They just decide to begin. So here's my invitation to you. If this episode spoke to you, don't just listen, respond. Write a review, share this episode with another leader who's questioning their next step. And ask yourself today, what's one small way I can lead with intention? Because this field doesn't need more titles, that is for sure. It needs more willing leaders. And if you're here, still listening, still learning, still longing for more, then that desire is already there. And that is all you need to begin. I'll meet you back in the Childcare Director's Chair. That's all for now.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Childcare Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sacosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.